You are tuned into a special Player Spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your guys' host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a Player Spotlight interview is one of the hotter names. It's a name that's really rising up the draft boards from the FCS ranks. He is 2016 NFL Draft Prospect, Ugonna Awuruonye, defensive end out of Campbell University. And I appreciate you taking some time today, Ugonna. Now, can you believe that, here we are coming towards the end of 2015 and that, your collegiate career is all over and now you're getting ready for an opportunity at the next level?
Yeah, it's just unreal how everything's happened so fast. I'm excited to, take that next step in my career. Yeah.
Now, I want to take you back quite a few years. Now, before you were at Campbell, you were actually at Towson, where you spent 2 years at, including your redshirt year. Talk about the whole recruiting process for you coming out of high school, and why did you feel at the time that Towson was the best fit for you?
The whole recruiting process coming out of high school is crazy. I actually went to 4 different high schools. I was more of a basketball player coming out of high school. Banged up with a couple injuries that kind of set me out of playing sports for a couple years in high school. And come my senior year, I was just like, you know what, let me go ahead and get it a shot and try to get a scholarship playing football. So that's how I became close friends with Coach Mike Minter. He was coaching a good program. He told me to come over to help the program, so I came over there for my last year. And he pretty much taught me what I know about the game today. So I actually surprisingly did pretty good my senior year and actually got a couple offers to a couple schools. I took my first official visit, surprisingly, was actually Campbell. They were my first offer, and then I took my visit to Towson, and I went there. I pretty much liked what I saw. It was away from home, something different from Charlotte, where I'm from. So I liked everything and how it went, so I went ahead and went time with Towson. It was pretty life-changing from there on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and as I said, you spent 2 years at Towson before making the decision to transfer to Campbell University. And you mentioned Mike Minter, your senior year of high school. He was actually your high school coach. How much of an impact did he have in you going to Campbell? I mean, it was a school that was obviously showing you interest coming out of high school, and a couple of years later, he turns out to be the head coach of the Campbell football team. How much of an impact did he have on you going to Campbell after those 2 years of yours at Towson?
Actually, he had a major influence on me going to Campbell, honestly. I probably wouldn't be going to Campbell if it wasn't for him.
And I'm sure, obviously, looking at what you were able to do over these last few years at Campbell, I'm sure Towson wishes that they were able to keep you because your first year at Campbell, you recorded 44 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 7 sacks. I mean, was it just a matter of time, just a matter of getting on the field? I mean, how were you able to have the immediate impact that you had your first year on the field at the college level?
My first year, I felt like, honestly, I really didn't, from an IQ standpoint of the game, I really didn't know as much. I kind of relied on my athleticism my first year. So somehow I racked up some stats. So that's how I felt, I went my first year.
And, really week in and week out throughout your time at Campbell, you really dominated the competition. Looking back at a couple of years ago, as a junior, you were voted first-team all-conference. You racked up 67 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, which tied the Campbell University season record, 5 batted passes and 3 forced fumbles. And this past season as a senior, you were able to record 54 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks. Again, as I've said, you can make a great argument that you are the best FCS defensive lineman coming into this year's draft. Why would you say that is? What would you attribute your success on the field over the last 3 seasons to?
I would attribute my success to film study. I'm just, I really learn a lot from watching other players at the next level, or, I pretty much mimic here and there from. I don't have that specific favorite player I watch. I get, I take a little from here, took a little from there. I feel like that contributed to my success. Coming in after the practices and putting in extra work in afterwards and talking to the coaches on what I need to work on also helped me help me get better my game.
Okay, and I'm not going to lie to you, although I'm going to be thinking, what if you played on the same D-line as former Towson D-end Ryan Dallaire? You wound up playing with another impressive defensive lineman in Greg Milhouse over at Campbell. I mean, talk about how you two complemented each other on that defensive line, and here you guys are now as two of the top FCS defensive linemen in the 2016 NFL Draft.
Man, it was pretty fun playing with Greg. I could say I missed him the first year I got there. I wish we got there at the same time, but it happened out perfect. It was planned out perfect. Me and Greg pretty much dominated the line. It didn't matter which opponent we faced. The quarterback was key in both of us and made sure he knew where we both were at all times. So it was pretty fun playing with Greg, and I felt like we both pushed each other to get better. And that's what really, I think, brought our game to the next level.
Oh, yeah, and, as you said, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys were always on the opposing team's scouting report. I mean, the opposing team's offense always had to, know where you two were at, of course, dominating on that defensive line for a few years over at Campbell. Once again, he is 2016 NFL draft prospect, Ugonna Awuruonye, defensive end out of Campbell University, joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And throughout your time at Campbell, who would you say is the best or most impressive player that you've had to play against?
The best player I had to play against throughout my time at Campbell, I would have to say, that's a tough question. It doesn't have to necessarily be an offensive lineman.
No, it could be anybody on the field.
So the player I have to go with that I think I faced that was pretty good was the quarterback from Old Dominion, Taylor Heineke. I think he's in the league right now. I'm not sure which team, but I would have to say he was the best player I faced throughout my collegiate career.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, not a bad choice. He is in the league with the Minnesota Vikings right now, of course, learning under a pretty good young quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, of course, over there in Minnesota. And this one might be another tough one for you, man. I mean, you made a ton of plays throughout your time at Campbell. What would you say is the most memorable play that you've made throughout your collegiate career? I mean, looking back 5-10 years from now, what's going to be the first play that comes to mind?
The first play that comes to mind would have to be the Drake game this year. I don't know what happened. I just clicked on all cylinders and pretty much dominated that whole game. It had to be that one play where I went through 3 people to make the sack, and it just changed momentum and shifted the game towards us, and we ended up winning. So I felt like that was the most memorable play in my collegiate career.
Okay, and it was a game changer, as you said. What would you say is your biggest strength as a defensive lineman, and what is one thing that you feel that you could still work on?
My biggest strength as a defensive lineman, I would say, is the shock and shed. I'm good at shocking and shedding, and also I feel like I have to work on more of my pass rush skills. I need to add more pass rush skills to my book.
Okay, well, I think it's safe to say that, I mean, again, you're still, there's probably your 5th, maybe 6th year playing the game, so, I mean, you still, you could still get better as an overall player. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, of course. I feel like honestly, every year I'm getting better. My coaches tell me that every year, so I'm always bringing in more information, and I'm always trying to better myself every year.
Absolutely. And how do you feel about the small school label that will be coming along with you as you pursue your NFL career?
To me, I honestly look at it as a challenge. It's pretty fun to me. It's just you come in as the underdog already, and I feel like you can wake pick up a bunch of people's eyes once you make a couple plays out there, and they're like, oh, yeah, this dude is for real. So that's what my mission is to do. I'm just there to just, turn people's heads and prove that small school guys can actually get it done, no matter what level you play on.
And you've been proving that over these last few years over at Campbell University. He is the defensive end out of Campbell University, the pride and joy of the Camels. Ugonna Awuruonye joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Prospect as he gets set for the 2016 NFL Draft. And when you hear that, I mean, you're getting set for the 2016 NFL Draft. I mean, what kind of goes through your mind? I mean, is this something that you could have even imagined, a couple years ago?
It was one of my goals my sophomore year. You just speaking it into existence. But then when you actually put up the stats and the numbers you did, you're like, man, if I did that, then if I actually take the time to actually learn the game, I can actually go somewhere with this. When I started hearing it this year, the beginning of this year, I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty exciting. And then after a while, when it's instilled in you so much, it starts to become second nature, and you feel like you're supposed to be there. So I can focus on something else and set my goals for something else instead of just going to the draft or hearing my name,
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that you certainly do have a bright future in football. And switching gears here for a moment, I mean, I think that you can be one of the small schoolers that gets an invite down to Indianapolis to participate in the NFL Combine. Regardless if you get a Combine invite or not, you will have a pro day. Can you tell us where you'll be training at for your pro day and what kind of numbers you'd like to record or expect to put up?
For my pro day, we'll be training at Active 8 Athleticism in San Diego, California. I'm actually going down there with Greg also, so we'll be training at the same facility.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to record on pro day. I'm hoping to get in the low 4.7s, the 30 bench press. I'm trying to put up some numbers to actually turn some heads, step myself apart.
Yeah, and as you know, I mean, coming from a smaller school, that's exactly what you're going to have to do to continue to open eyes. I mean, obviously, the film is the most important part, but obviously a great pro day for a small schooler could do wonders for somebody like yourself. And I see that the Campbell website has you listed at 6'5", 260 pounds. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, just wanted to confirm that with you. So, again, 6'5", 260 pounds. Now, I'm going to bring something back for this interview that we're going to call the 2-minute drill. Some of these questions will be football-related and some will be random questions, and this will actually finish up our interview. You ready to tackle these, my friend?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first I'll start off with what is your favorite TV show or movie?
TV show has to be SportsCenter.
Okay. Are you going to be making any appearances on SportsCenter Top 10 anytime soon?
I'm hoping to in these next years.
All right. Now I know a little bit ago you said you don't really model your game after just one person. Can you name a few players that are currently playing in the NFL that you kind of like to pick and choose parts of their games and add it onto yours?
I would have to say Khalil Mack, Julius Peppers, Everett Griffin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I gotta think Khalil Mack is going to be an All-Pro this year, but even Peppers and Griffin certainly All-Pros and have certainly made a name for themselves in the league, so you cannot go wrong with that. If you had a plane ticket to travel anywhere you wanted, where would you go?
I actually would go to Los Angeles, California. I've just never been there before. I feel like it'd be a unique experience to actually go there for the first time.
Okay, and as you said, you're going to be going down to San Diego to be training for your pro day for a possible combine invite. Now, if you can lay a hit on one quarterback currently playing in the NFL, who would that be?
I actually want to lay a hit on Cam Newton, just because the fact that it just seems like he's impossible to tackle. So if it actually happens, I'll feel pretty good about it.
I'm going to be sending this to Cam Newton once you're his teammate next year, right? All right, just a couple more questions for you. If it wasn't for football, what career would you be pursuing?
That's a tough question. I really don't, honestly. No, I'd probably be playing basketball or trying to pursue a basketball career.
And would this change into an NBA draft prospect interview?
Yeah. I could say that. Yeah, I can do it back in the day. So.
All right, final question for you. If an NFL general manager was listening to this very interview, why should they want the defensive end out of Campbell University, Ugonna Awuruonye, a part of their team?
I can bring a lot to the table as a 4-team. I'm very consistent as a player. I'm willing to get better. I'm coachable. I will take the necessary steps I need to do, or whatever the coach has to tell me to do. And there's room for growth. I haven't played the game as long as most other players have played. And, I can mold my game to however they feel like I should, would be best for me. So.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of potential there on the table. And as I said, that was my final question for you, man. I really do appreciate you taking some time today. Had a great time chatting with you, and I'm wishing you all the best as you get set for the 2016 NFL Draft.
Thank you.